Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Be sure to check me out over on Rumble. There you'll find all of my stuff from YouTube, plus my political and social commentary and weekly current events, which YouTube frowns on. Links to my Rumble channel, as well as my other YouTube channels, and links to let you order my books are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an Alien Encounters video on the Sandown Clown from 1973. I had never heard of this before. I found it in a video about it, and I looked up some articles for confirmation, and I conglomerated the evidence, or the article, the information. Everything that was common, I put in here. Here we go. In May of 1973, on the Isle of Wight, two children, that's right off the coast of England, by the way. Two children were playing near a lake at around 4 p.m., and it was near the town of Sandown. That's why they call it the Sandown Clown. The children, a boy and a girl, were both age 7. They heard a wailing sound similar to that of an air raid siren. The children were curious, so they followed the sound through a bridge, or through a hedge, rather, and across a golf course. They followed it into a swampy meadow near the Sandown airport. The sound stopped then, but the children were still curious, so they continued on. As they crossed a wooden footbridge, a blue-gloved hand appeared from under the bridge. The hand had only 3 fingers, and it was attached to a strange being. The being climbed up onto the bridge while the children watched. It fumbled with what looked like a book and managed to drop the book into the water. It reached into the water and retrieved the book. The being then walked a short distance to a UFO described as a metal hut. The being entered the craft, and the UFO began hopping around erratically. The children were confused but felt the encounter was over with, so they turned to walk back. Shortly, the being reappeared. This time, it carried what appeared to be some kind of a microphone-shaped device. The wailing noise began again, and the children were scared, so they started to run away. The being then spoke into the microphone, saying, "Hello, are you still there?" It was asking, "Are you still there?" The voice was pleasant and friendly, so the kids approached the being. This being was nearly 7 feet tall, with no neck. It wore white pants and a yellow pointed hat. The hat connected to a collar on a green shirt. This sounds a lot like a spacesuit to me, I'm just saying. The hat had antennas and a black knob. Its face was triangular markings for eyes and a small square nose. It had yellow lips that didn't move. That sounds a lot like a mask to me. It had white cheeks and red hair on its forehead. Okay, I got nothing to say for that. That's weird. By all accounts, it looked like some kind of an odd clown. That hence the term the Sandown Clown. The being wrote into the book for the kids to read. It said, "Hello, I am All Colors Sam." The two children began a dialogue with the being. They found out that it was not human. They asked if it was a ghost, and it replied, "Well, not really, but I am in an odd sort of way." The being explained that there were many different types of beings like him. Then the being invited the children into the craft. The kids had to crawl through a flap, but inside it was as big as a 2-story building. The lower floor was huge with simple furniture made of wood and wallpaper with dials painted on it. The second story was small with a metallic floor. The being conversed with the kids in a friendly manner and told them there was a camp that the beings went to while they were foraging. The water there had to be cleaned before it could be drunk. A half hour later, the kids said goodbye and ran back to town. They told people they had seen a ghost. Now, this story in and of itself could have been the product of a children's vivid and fanciful fanciful imagination. However, other people had seen UFOs in that area for an extended period of time, beginning more than a year before and several years after the children's encounter. Another witness on the edge of town on that particular afternoon reported hearing what they described as an odd siren with no apparent source. This particular witness made a phone call, and the person on the other end heard the siren as well. They discussed it on the phone. Now, to me, this story has a ring of truth. When I first read this, the first time I read it, the inside of the craft being bigger on the inside with, dials and knobs all over. It's in the early 70s in England. These kids probably had seen Doctor Who. So that's the first time I read this, I was thinking, well, yeah, this, these kids, they're imagining, and their imagination is tainted by Doctor Who. The TARDIS is bigger on the inside. It's got a little, back in the 70s, had all these dials and knobs on the inside, But then you read this other stuff about the other witnesses, other people had seen UFOs in the area, and another witness heard the siren. Yeah. To me, this story has a ring of truth. It really does. I don't do stories on here that don't sound at least plausible and have some sort of corroboration. The fact that other people heard the siren and it was audible over the phone, yeah, that tells me something was going on. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have if you know more about this than I do, put it in the comments. I'm sure we'd love to read it. If you have different comments or different ideas, different opinions, please put them down there. I welcome your opinions, even if I disagree with them. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. Vanguard One, Devo Poland, a scientific representative from a pacifist race called the Gandhiri, has come to Earth to learn the one thing that humans do better than anyone else in the galaxy: to fight. In the sequel, Task Force Terminus, Earth is at war with an alien race called the Amdola. Devo Poland's new commission in the Terran fleet exposes him to bigotry and treachery, and he comes to realize that sometimes political and military maneuvering are one and the same.